What's happening, everybody? You're tuning in to Music and Motivation with Chris Davis. This is episode number 155, and it is an extra special episode. I got one of the most inspirational, cool, calm, collected individuals I could find for this podcast, and it is my lovely wife, Miss Kelly Davis. How's it going?
Oh, it is just tremendous. How are you doing?
Oh, you know, it's been a long week and nobody knows it better than us, right? Yeah.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Yeah, right. Ain't that the truth? Thanks for being here with me. I know your time is valuable, and thanks for sharing it with me and our listeners, man.
Absolutely. I am glad to be here.
And if you are listening, man, thank you, bro. This show does not happen without your continued support. So thank you for being here as well. Happy to be here with you. Coming out just a hair late because we're trying something different. Recording in the evening, everybody. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a different vibe this evening. And that's all good. It's been a while since I've had a guest on, and I've never had my lovely wife on. And the reason for that, guys, is just... we do so much stuff together. We're in 2 bands together. We live together. We're married. Music and motivation's always kind of been like my thing, and it was something to do while she was at work, you know. But here we are, and happy to have you on, and it's been a long time coming. If you guys didn't know, Kelly does a lot of work for the Comedy by Coincidence podcast.
Most definitely.
So make sure you go check that out. Anything you'd like to plug here at the beginning while we got everybody's attention?
Actually, yeah. Forgiving Tree has a show coming up this Friday. I don't know exactly when you're going to drop it, but... Oh,
yeah, no, we're announcing that. So go,
all right,
you're
yeah,
clear to.
Friday. Doors are at 7, and... we'll be playing with Serve a Day and the Tyler Samuels Project. So you should most definitely come check us out at the Broadway Boat Bar, 7 p.m.
It's boat themed. It's like kind of like pirate, Caribbean. It's pretty dope. I've seen pictures. I've seen a walkthrough. We're gonna have a great time. And currently, I know there's a little bit of snow in the prediction. It's on, baby. Unless you hear from this mouth, it is on.
It is going down.
It is going down. So we want to see you there. And you know what? If you make it, it's going to be extra special. We're going to go extra hard for you.
Totally. But outside of that, check out Forgiving Tree on our socials. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, to keep up to date with all of our live shows because we got stuff in the works. So... it'll be exciting.
You should find them. It's either Forgiving Tree or The Forgiving Tree. Excellent, man. So, you are a bassist extraordinaire. You are a awesome and incredible wife.
Oh, shucks.
You are a tremendous... I'm just going to say social worker because you do a lot of it, but that's not necessarily your job. Tremendous. You got a great heart. How about we say that? You know what I mean? You take care of a lot of people, and you're somebody that people could really look up to. So that's why I really wanted to have you on. You inspire me to keep pushing a lot of days because, we all have tough days, but you have some tough days too. And you tell me some horror stories that we're not going to get into on this show. Maybe some other day. But, man, you do a lot for a lot of people, and you inspire the shit out of me. So I'm here to tell you that.
Well, thank you. I could say the very same about you. You keep me going, buddy.
Thanks, bud. Let's see. I want to start before I met you, though, because, you're an amazing bassist in 2 awesome bands right now. You've been in a lot of bands. I kind of want to talk about what was your very first instrument?
My very first instrument? Oh my gosh. I'd say the first one I really regularly practiced in any capacity would be piano. I started that one in about 1st grade, and I'm really glad that I started there because it gave me a really good, solid foundation for the instruments I'd go on to learn.
Yeah.
I played violin from 3rd grade through senior year of high school.
So hold on.
So.
You played piano first, then you went on to violin?
Yeah.
As second? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't take that on until it was part of the school curriculum, actually. So 3rd grade was when that set in. So I had like 2 years of piano under my belt. Got me real familiar with the treble clef.
Nice.
After a little bit, I kind of dropped off on the piano. I had a
Crazy teacher?
No.
Oh, curriculum.
No, it was my schedule.
Yeah.
I have no idea how my parents managed it. 2 kids running to and from everywhere. There was no stopping. We were ships passing in the night at the
Give
hub.
me a couple examples of extracurriculars you were doing.
Oh gosh.
Because obviously we got piano, so we got a little bit of instrument in there.
Had piano. I played for 2 basketball teams. I had a volleyball team. I was going to school full time.
Yeah, so
homework. Yeah. Barely squeezing in time with friends. You had practices. You had tournaments. I had, again, any number of practice hours I had to put in for my school orchestra, which I was actively doing, and choir, which I was actively doing, and it was nuts.
Yeah, it sounds like a nutty extracurricular schedule, but it keeps you off the streets. That's what extracurriculars are there for, and you did a good job of that.
Woo. So yeah, eventually piano kind of tapered off. I kind of did that a little more casually, like I'd pick stuff up on my own here and there, but I stopped formally doing lessons, devoted most of my time to violin until senior year, when again, honestly, got a little tired of being so busy all the time.
Yeah, understandably so. That's what college is about. Now you can define your schedule a little bit, and that's where a lot of people lose their minds. And understandably so. You've been restricted, and, every second has been accounted for up until now. Now that you got a little bit of freedom, you want to experiment a little bit. But it seems like you kept your shit together pretty well.
Tried.
You did what you could. You still got out in 4 years. A lot of people, including your boy, don't even pull that off. And no disrespect if you don't.
No.
It's hard these days. And also, hey, if you're listening to this and thinking about going to college, I want you to truly consider not going to college. Because every other mofo is going to tell you that it's just so necessary these days. And for some fields, it absolutely is. You want to be a doctor? Chris Davis can't be a doctor unless I go to 8 years of school. Okay, that's just how it is. Unless you're talking about the rock and roll doctor, which I definitely am. But
you're not wrong. I love that for you.
But
especially our creative friends. How many of them have we talked to that have told us I didn't need it in hindsight?
I truly wish the second in college I switched to music major that I had just dropped out and gone after the music whole time, or did the exact same trajectory I did after school then. Because I'd be that much more ahead of the game. So if you're going for music or entertainment or whatever, go stop. Do a reality check and tell yourself, I don't need to spend the $14,000 or whatever, $60,000. Okay. Yeah, but sorry. This is about Kelly. I'm sorry, gang. But Kelly here. When did you pick up the bass? Is that next after violin?
It was. I'm trying to remember if I picked it up at all while I was still in high school. I can't recall.
Oh, sorry.
I want to say I kind of toyed around with it just the tiniest little bit back in high school, but I really didn't start picking it up in any really serious capacity until college.
Because I remember going and picking... No. Was it a gift to you? Or did you buy it?
I bought the first one.
Yeah, I remember going and looking with you. That's what I was thinking. I thought we went to Fazio's and looked at that one.
We sure did.
But you weren't in the band yet. In fact, I don't even think I was asking you to.
Nope.
Unlike most people, where I would ask, we'd have a show scheduled and be like, hey, I need you to learn an instrument.
No, honestly, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, the only reason I'd really thought to pick it up was so we could jam kind of in our free time.
Yeah.
I don't
Give
think
us something
the
else
Book
to
and
do.
Joe project even really started coming together at that point yet.
Yeah, that was like
Like-
sophomore year of college. Or
Yeah.
at least the summer going into it.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that freshman year or earlier that summer even, like, I really picked it up. But it kind of felt like cheating, because again, with the violin and the piano being a lot of my background, I was already familiar with, like, the bass clef. And in all honesty, the violin and the bass are essentially just the same instrument with the strings flipped.
Yeah.
So if you can figure one out, you can kind of somewhat intuitively figure the other one out. So I kind of cheated my way into that one.
You know, maybe, and this is just an idea. Maybe you should just flip it up. Be a really cool trick. You go full Jimi Hendrix on it with the bass, you know, flip
Well,
the bass the other
one
way.
thing
and
at a
be
time.
able to, you know what I mean? But going on. I think you might, if you think about it that way, you might have better luck at it than me. I was trying that the other day with guitar. It's tough. It's a toughie.
I've only ever done fretwork with the left hand. I don't know how suddenly throwing old righty in the mix
No,
would go.
yeah, it doesn't go very well. Riley doesn't do it.
I've never done it.
Riley doesn't know
I don't
what
know
he's
about
doing.
all that.
But,
But hey, it's a good skill to practice, I guess. I mean, hey, heck of a stage technique.
so what was your first band you joined?
Gosh, I gotta say, it was probably the one with
Book and Joe. That wasn't really a band since it was unnamed
No.
and they played 0 shows with
Yeah.
us. So
But we did
Not a
some very
band.
light songwriting at that point. And beyond that, I think I kind of stepped pretty much straight into that first iteration of American Absinthe.
So you were in the very first lineup of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
American Absinthe went through a couple different lineups. It went through a lot of lineups, actually. Probably 4, if not 5 in total. So that's a lot of people who were in and out of that band all the time, bro.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
insane.
Well, and not
that
to
band
mention-
was the closest we came to being in like a Grateful Dead Santana band. It was pretty cool. I love and cherish those memories. There were a lot of good times.
There were a lot of bad.
bad
There were a lot of really good times. There were a lot of really bad times.
Yeah, it was a trip, dude.
It really was.
It was the Great American Trip, and I'm glad we got to experience it.
Oh, yeah.
I like this band. This band has more of a Rush vibe because we're pretty straight edge with this band. We haven't done anything super nutty. We're not, you know what I mean, gallivanting Grateful Dead style all over the place. It's, you know.
We, like, had a gridlock on all of the rock venues and households in Warrensburg the whole college time. Like,
Oh
whole
yeah,
college
nothing was off
experience.
limits, dude. Nothing was off limits. And in
we
fact,
were
we
just
kind of
popping
planned
up
it
all
that
over
way.
town.
It was like, what did we just do? A bar show? Let's try to get a frat show next. Those are fun. Oh, I loved the frat shows. Especially, you know, going into college. And I never joined a frat, guys. I want to say this. You know, you don't have to. Even if you don't, doesn't mean you can't be friends with them. I had a lot of frat friends. In fact, I would play their frats. And again, because we were friends, I went to college thinking frats were nothing but filled with meatheads who had no social skills and had to pay for friends. Not necessarily true, but they were fun people, bro. Very nice people, super supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, some of the nicest people we met. So, shout out to
Absolutely.
Clark Burlage, who was the closest thing to a manager, a successful manager we ever had, and he was, you know, he was still a great friend.
Really good dude. Just really good dude.
He joined American Absinthe. What that lasted for? Oh my God, 5 years. It was 4 years.
I think.
4 years, because that first year I was in the Cleve, so that was where
I was
my
about
energy
to
was
say,
being
American
devoted.
Absinthe worked out really well because, like, sophomore year was my first year out in that township full time, and right around when I started there, the Cleve had dissolved. under,
Right.
you know,
okay, that brings up a fair
band
point.
BS.
Let's talk about some hardships we all went through. Tell us a little bit about going from high school to college. What'd you go to college for, and where'd you go to college freshman year?
Okay, so my freshman year of college, big old Britches Kelly decided she was gonna go ahead and be an OT. So, to make that major work, because mind you, I was at Missouri State,
Yeah.
which at the time didn't have an OT program. They were working on it, didn't have it yet. If you wanted to go on that track, you had to go in the catch-all health studies major. Well, to put it bluntly, it was really difficult for me to meet people out there. Everybody kind of went with their group of high school friends. I tried clubs and stuff. Just didn't really fall into any crowds. Loved the town. Loved being out there. Just couldn't really get a foothold in. So, sophomore year, I kind of did the same equivalent at UCM, but there it was community health.
Right.
So
we were going for the same major, but under a different name avenue.
yeah,
Right.
essentially. Yeah, and that was kind of what I graduated under.
Tell you, it was a tough year not having you around. I went to UCM, and I had at least 2 to 3 friends that I went with. At least I had a couple of people around. But it was great to have you come, and it was only then that we were able to create a semi-reliable band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, when half the band is accounted for at all times, it makes it pretty easy.
It does. It really does. You never have to wonder where the other person's gonna end up eventually. You're just like, well, half the band.
I like to believe it makes our band communication a lot better, because at least we can generally speak for each other's schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
But, my gosh, we keep getting off topic. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Terrible host.
No, we're just chatting.
So, just for the history books, American Absinthe dissolved at the end of my last year at college.
Was that 2019? Were you 2019?
Yeah, I graduated 2019, May 2019. So it was like April 2019. Everybody was pretty bummed that I was leaving town. We had one big show planned out, and tensions were pretty high, so they ended up not even wanting to do the show, and we had like a house party anyways. And honestly, that house party, we played some stuff.
Wow.
I remember improvising a lot. It was like an EDM
I
thing.
think you played some stuff, if I remember
No,
correctly.
but we had a guy come up and beatbox too. And,
That's fair.
And some improv. I think we did like a karaoke night by the end of it. It
You
was
sure
kind of.
did.
I sure did. Oh god.
You sure did. I
was
got some
having
nice
trouble.
videos. They may have been pictures in hindsight.
Yeah, that's okay. I got like 1 or 2 pictures that night, but
It
yeah,
was
what it was.
And yeah, it didn't end on the highest of
No,
notes, but
no.
we did have some good times in there before things fell apart.
A lot of different iterations, a lot of different people coming and going. Mostly just because people would graduate or people would drop out of college.
Or it just kind of wasn't
Their thing.
their focus at the time.
Yeah, in order for them to be successful at school, they had to do other things, or in order for us to be friends, we had to not be in a band.
Yeah.
There was one. I love you guys. You know who I'm talking about. I love you.
Hey, but at least you were mature enough as people to be able to make that call.
Hey, we're still great friends. In fact,
True.
I just called that mofo, so.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And the Bay. It just doesn't feel right talking about American Absinthe without talking about the Bay.
Right. The Bay was the bar of choice for a few years until it shut down.
It was the best of times and the worst of times,
They
for
had,
sure.
We had some great shows there.
I think we had some of our best turnouts at concerts at the Bay, but also
Some of our worst shows.
there was
Some
really sloppy performances mixed in there as well, and I'm faulting myself entirely on a few of those. Don't get me mistaken
It's okay.
here.
That was a wild band. We were wild people.
But it felt like we were the house band almost, and it holds a special place in my heart for that reason. Because toward the end there, we kind of were the house band.
Yeah. But here's the deal. We never got paid.
Yeah, that was the worst of times
That
part
was
of it.
that was like we can look as fondly as we want. We stopped doing it because we didn't get paid for any of it. And
absolutely.
It was total bullshit.
No,
especially because they took
paid.
the free booze away too. So it was just like, what are we doing this for?
They got they dissolved, and before we would have gotten our last paycheck, yeah, someone involved who I'm not gonna name drop because that's not
Cool.
Not
That's
kosher.
fine.
Didn't hear again. Didn't hear from him again, which is understandable. If you can't keep the roof, you can't pay the band necessarily, but still hurt.
So let's talk a little bit more about it now. So you're in 2 bands, is it right now?
Yes. Yeah, actually.
Tell us a
Took me a
little
second.
bit about your other project. We heard a little bit about Forgiving Tree and their concert coming up. What's your other band?
So, my other project, also with the lovely you, is the Jazz Operators. I like to throw down some funky jazz beats every once and again. Get in some standards, throw out some jams when we're feeling it.
Nice.
Only when we're feeling it.
You talk very elegantly about music. I love it.
We don't really have anything big scheduled so
No,
far as I know, so I don't really know.
It's
how
just
to
a
talk
project,
about
but
it.
it's cool
we're
that
a
you do it.
we're a jazz 4-piece, and we're making it work.
What instruments you got in the band?
We got a bassist, a pianist, a saxophonist, and a drummer.
Anything with a saxophone is really cool, so I'd love to hear it sometime. Go check out the Jazz Operators on Facebook. That's the best way to catch their stuff. How about your other band?
Forgiving Tree. We talked about them a little bit.
Yeah, what's
We got
their
our
style?
women's show. We've been endearingly calling the project edgy hippie in terms of style. It's hard to explain a little bit, but I think our backgrounds and listening to a lot of the music that came out in the 60s and the 70s, as well as like a lot of the 90s era grunge alternative scene, kind of impacted our overall sound. I think we do a good job at incorporating a lot of different styles and keeping it fresh, but I think you definitely hear those influences like most prominently throughout the songs.
That's tremendous. Having fun with it?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most of the time,
Most of the time.
As
Drum-
the way I look at it, with any good group of people that communicates very strongly, you're gonna have a little bit of butting heads. It's okay.
Right. It's okay.
There's some growing pains while you figure people
It's
out,
okay.
but it's okay. That's how you get stronger as a collective, and that's how you gotta look at it.
With any good drummer is gonna come some good problems.
Hey, we weren't singling nobody out now.
No. That's just true for any band. Let me see.
Yeah,
Trying to think.
we've been getting our stage legs under us, and I think this next one at Broadway Boat Bar is really gonna help us to build that stage stamina, because I think this will definitely, by and large, be the longest we'll have played in one go as
A group.
one
And
band.
that's gonna be super fun.
Certainly the longest we've played on
Live.
stage in years.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so much. Hey, we can look at this like the cross-eyed cricket show we never got.
That's true.
Because that one also won. But
Let me switch topics a little bit on us. So obviously, married you. The love of my life.
Glad for it.
Yeah. Better for it every day of my life. Thanking, grateful. All that good jazz, you know. I want to talk a little bit about the getting ready to get married process, man. Because it was a lot. Specifically,
yes,
not only because we were trying to get married and plan a wedding, we were also trying to build our first careers out of college. We were trying to buy a house in a housing market that was fizzucked, because it's 25 minutes in. I can say that. It was fizzucked, everybody. Yeah, I mean, we put 2 offers down on houses before we found this one, and this was our 3rd offer we put in. We had to put it down 30 minutes after we left the house tour.
And we had to go all in with it.
Yeah, we had to go over the asking price too,
which at the time was not the case anymore.
That's
what
totally,
we did looked very, very reasonable. But yeah, no, at the time it was unheard of, and
but it's what we actually did. We only put in like 1,000 over, so it really wasn't that crazy. And the people we got it from were also about our age and very just. They looked like us 3 years older, and I was like, oh God.
I know, I was like, oh,
when they passed it off the key, I think they thought the same thing. They were like, oh, these hippies. He was wearing a Cheech and Chong shirt and looked like me, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
I think we met their dog first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. But anyways, what was your favorite thing about planning the wedding?
Favorite thing about planning the wedding? I think my favorite thing was just imagining all of the possibilities for the day.
Oh, that was so fun. Yeah.
Oh man.
The excitement, it was, and
absolutely.
Like imagining how it's going to be.
Picturing what I thought the final product, like the final
walk
end
down,
game was going to look like.
I mean, I was imagining you walking down the aisle and how that was going to look, and I was like so stunned when it actually did that. I was like, oh wow, it's nothing I could have imagined like that.
Well, even as silly as it sounds, I was excited to see how the room would look with like the centerpieces and stuff like that.
Oh, we did so much work on
with all those tie-dyes and the nice little
we went all out
floating glasses. I was like, I just can't see it all lit up. And even better yet was it still exceeded my expectations. I was still blown away. 100%.
2 times.
2 times, baby.
Oh, that's the part we forgot to put in there with the added motherfucking stresses of setting up a wedding, getting married, buying a house, finding careers. We were planning not one, those weddings. Those weddings, because COVID. We're going to say it was COVID. There were other reasons too, but you know, we love everybody. We'll say this: love was the reason. Love was the reason. Okay, and COVID.
Family means a lot to us, and making sure that everybody was happy and healthy was a big
huge
priority.
So, I think my favorite part was our drives on the weekends where we would go and look at venues.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
And I mean, I don't even, it's not like, I'm sure you drove too, a little bit. I remember driving the Civic to go look at ones way the fuck in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful, and it was an awesome way to wake up. We'd each go, we'd be like, it's going to be a bit of a drive. I mean, normally the Civic isn't sketchy. It had a moment.
Well, that's
we all have moments.
It wasn't being sketchy at that point.
Yeah, we all have moments.
It was great.
It had a moment, dude. It was sick, dude. We had to make it happy and healthy again. But we care. No, but seriously, driving, I think my favorite part of setting up the weddings was our drives in the mornings. Especially on Sundays. We'd wake up, we'd go get ourselves a coffee with a gift card or something, and go for an hour drive to Defiance or to Washington, Missouri to go look at, beautiful places and talk to people who...
We'd have 15 plus minutes in just like the woods. It was awesome.
Yeah. And there were plenty of beautiful places we could have gone. I think we did right on all accounts.
Yeah.
I think we did great.
Absolutely.
Not only your dream wedding, my dream wedding. I think it was awesome.
Absolutely.
Favorite part of wedding number 1?
Wedding number 1. Oh, man. You know, the whole, like, right before and right as I walked in to the actual, like, church setting where everybody was.
Oh, that was kind of magical.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Well, and again, I had, like, a little powwow with my dad down in the stairwell
Oh, that's nice.
for a little while before I walked up, and it was really cute. It was
That
really
is so
sweet.
cute. Oh, at least you had a good buddy to talk to. I was kind of, I had a lot of people. I was kind of losing it out front a little bit.
Well, and for a minute, like, oh my gosh, it felt like an eternity. I must only have been in there for like 2 to 5 minutes, but it felt so long. Like, cause like all the girls were like in the stairwell with me for a little bit, but naturally, like everybody's gonna get situated.
Yeah, they gotta go get in line and all that.
Right, and it felt like forever, and we're just standing there, like, you know.
Are they ready for us?
Well, like we're both trying.
Are we screwing this up?
We're both trying so hard not to cry.
Yeah, too.
Like so
Emotions are
hard at this point, and so both of us being like emotional signposts. We're just kind of like, yup, and toward the end for the last little bit, like, like King of the Hill style.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready, I suppose, but, like, it was so, so wonderful getting to look up at you right when the doors opened. Like, I knew everybody was looking at me, and in any other circumstance, I would have been horrified.
Yeah, but you had
But
something
it didn't
else
matter,
to focus on.
because I was just
all
looking
good.
at you, baby.
Same here, buddy. Same here. Way to not fall.
Yeah,
Good job.
that's why we didn't wear heels. Strategic moves. I would have
You
bitten
looked
the carpet.
amazing, girl. And then, okay.
I was not expecting to be handed a box of crayons.
Me neither. That was not in...
That was not in the
you know,
list of things that I thought would happen.
Guys,
but
okay.
you know,
one
it
of
was cute.
One of the other things we had to do that a lot of people don't have to do is we went through this, not necessarily couples therapy, but it was like couples classes with
They were
the
marriage prep classes.
marriage prep classes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sorry. I just couldn't think of it.
No, it's all good.
With the priest who was going to do it. We probably had to go meet with him. It was supposed to be like 6 to 8 times. And I mean, COVID happened, guys. It's not like we're bad Catholics. He's an older kind of, husky gentleman, and he was, very nervous about COVID as well as we all were,
He was one of two
priests on deck.
actively working.
So
like he was
a needed
spoken
man.
for.
Yeah, not to mention he kind of runs the place, so
So he did what he
we
could.
we probably met with him 4 times, and it was good, honestly. Not the most ideal thing scheduling. That was a con with the scheduling that part, but honestly, we're all better for it. And he was a very good and polite and respectful and admirable guy. Shout out Father P.
Great dude. We talked about getting dinner with him, and then things just kept getting worse.
Yeah, things just kept getting worse, and I hope he's healthy.
Me too.
Your favorite thing about wedding number 2?
Favorite thing about wedding number 2? I just loved how carefree everybody felt. That was lovely. I loved that everybody felt like the pressure was off. We're all just there to be having a good time, celebrating with each other, getting to do something we hadn't gotten to do in God knows how long at that point. Knowing it wasn't going to last forever, but still just going in on it, if only for a day.
And as short as the ceremony was, I kind of like that we planned the whole thing. We put some Catholic stuff in there.
We did.
We stuck to it.
And again, we did everything we could to keep the venue open and keep it as minimally crowded as possible. And I think we did pretty much everything.
It was tight.
A good thing.
Also, they didn't charge us for the alcohol our friends stole after they closed the bar.
Yeah, that did make
Shout
me a
out
little
to
bit
those
upset.
bartenders.
I
was upset with our friends there, actually, and I was pretty messed up.
But, I mean, it is...
I didn't take any of the alcohol that they stole.
Admittedly, it's hilarious. I didn't take any either because I figured they would for sure be mad at that point, but...
They closed the bar, and then our drunk friends started raiding it again and just pouring themselves whatever, and it was kind of truly funny, but I was like, guys, I'm paying for this.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
You're fucking yourself at your wedding because you don't think I'm not going to do this back to you for sure. But
absolutely.
Shout out Brett and Christian. If you guys ever get married, you know I'm doing that to you guys because I watched Brett initiate that shit. It's either Brett or Caitlin. I'm
Dallas too.
Dallas
he was
too.
back there
I mean,
too.
Dallas was getting any alcohol he could, so whatever.
I 100% saw Caitlin and Dallas do it for sure. Everybody else, I was trying very hard not to see it for plausible deniability's sake. Yeah. But what was your favorite part? You said the bar.
Let me just go back. I don't think I said my favorite thing about wedding number one. The reception for wedding number one was pretty special for me.
Oh, totally.
In all sorts of ways, but I will say this: that the ceremony of wedding number one was kind of like my dream wedding. So, like the ceremony, as long as it was as kind of uncomfortable as it was for some people, I'm very grateful for everybody for wanting to be a part of it. I'm very grateful that it happened. I'm very grateful of our location. I always kind of dreamed of getting married at St. Joe's, and I mean, I went there from kindergarten to 8th grade, guys. You guys, I had to go to mass there every Wednesday for like 9 years of my life, gang. So I always pictured it as a kid, and it was wonderful to see the most beautiful woman in my life walk down the aisle to me. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I'll say the ceremony on wedding number one, even though the reception on that, both were, I mean, everything tremendous. It both went off without a hitch. Nobody got sick, and just like best people imaginable at both. Second one, that you walking down was a little bit more like beautiful outside. It was just like picture perfect, dude. But like your dad walking you down that was pretty amazing. It was also pretty amazing to have like just our friends from all over the place in every age and angle, all kicking and partying, and it doesn't matter if I know you, I'm drinking with you.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's the other thing, guys.
The energy at that one was just very cool. Like, not that having the family was not intensely special and wonderful, because it absolutely was.
It was. No, good, yeah.
But, like, especially the
we
energy
talked
at
about
the
getting married in
second
college and having all these crazy, a crazy college wedding and stuff like that. It was kind of the closest thing we could ever come to that, as well as doing a respectful.
Us.
Yeah, it was very us.
It
Tie-dye,
was very us.
every hippie we ever knew, and just yeah, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. So grateful for those two amazing nights, both the most awesome nights of my life. And I'm grateful for every day I get to spend with you.
Right back at you.
Thank you again for being here with me today.
Absolutely.
And every day.
You bet. Wouldn't be anywhere else.
Anything I forgot to bring up that we talked about? I wanted to talk about your music history. I wanted to talk a little bit about your band history. I wanted to talk... Who's, just for our listeners who really love the music, who's, like, your top 3 to 5 favorite bands?
Well,
if you're gonna...
rating them has always been very difficult for me, so I'm going to try to do,
That's why I say 3 to 5, so it'll give you a little bit of wiggle room.
Right
now. How about that?
Okay.
Right
all right.
now.
So currently, a lot of the bands that I find myself doubling back to are Highly Suspect, big one.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Just been earworms all across the board. Bad Flower. It's another one I've been really hitting hard. For sure. I've been going back and listening to a lot of particularly My Chemical Romance, Soundgarden, and Avenged Sevenfold recently. But it hasn't been almost exclusively that. I've been throwing a couple other things here in the mix. But if I had to give, two that I've recently been on and 5 that have kind of been...
a couple goldies.
Yeah. I'd say that's a pretty solid scope, of course. We get some Foo Fighters in there occasionally, but...
Okay, we're gonna... favorite concert you've ever attended?
Okay, so it's again another tough one to put a number on it, but
you've seen so many concerts like we have.
Yeah, I think probably one of my favorites would have had to have been. I think it was Uproar, and not Point Fest this year, but. It was definitely a festival. I'd been there all day. And it was the day before I was set to have knee surgery. So I'm up there at Verizon Wireless in the yard with my leg in a full cast. My ACL is blown. Like, I am hobbling. No crutches. I haven't been to the hospital yet.
I haven't fixed it either.
Yeah, so I know what's wrong, but, like, I don't... nothing's good to be done about it for right now.
It's still hurting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't so much hurt unless I, like, put it at a specific angle at this point in time. But it makes a lot more sense to wear a cast than to have it at, what would you say that is? 75 degrees?
Right.
The whole concert. So I just remember, like, it was one of the first times I got to see Avenged Sevenfold, and at the time they were
your favorite band. Yeah, no, totally.
Absolutely. I got to hear songs I never thought I'd hear played. Just being in with my people and seeing, like, the collective crowd and how they operate together. You know, it's different from show to show, but that show, that crowd, they were in it, and it was just something special. I remember I ended up kind of like on the outskirts of a pit, but everybody was pretty mindful of my leg, and people would pop out from it to be like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'd be like, "ACL." And they'd be like, "Hardcore." And then they'd pop back into the pit. But there was just something really magical about that show. I'm 90% sure I went with Nikki, and she's my go-to on the concerts, and she just always makes it a very special experience. But had a
Nikki
great time
and Eric
that year.
Great concert buddies. No, that's a great concert story.
Though seeing Dave Grohl on the Throne of Guitars was another
that was special.
Cool
I can't
experience.
believe we caught that tour.
That was so cool. And the Westboro Baptist Church was there outside the venue protesting.
And our room was schwanky as schwanky gets.
We accidentally stole a cup and left a cupcake at a bakery, which will not be named.
That's alright. I was just upset because I wanted that cookies.
It would have been dinner.
Yeah.
Nowhere else was open.
It was terrible, and we were broke, so it's not like we could have ordered
some
fancy thing from Fancy Room, right?
Fancy
room food probably was $30 for a thing of mac and cheese. You know?
Yeah, it would have been ridiculous.
So, Kelly, okay. No, that sounds pretty crazy. I think we're gonna end it there on the interview.
You didn't give me one.
What? Oh,
Your
you want
concert
favorite
story.
concerts?
Yeah, I feel cheated.
My favorite concert? Well, I was trying to get out of here before I do this because I don't want to decide. There's too many, man.
Give me a good one then. You don't have to make it
Okay.
your favorite. Just give me a
First
good
time
one.
we saw Dead and Company.
Oh,
Despite everything, still probably my favorite all-time concert experience.
boy.
Though this last Dead and Company show probably has the ringer, and in my mind will probably be the more special of the two, just because I spent time with every person except my siblings. Mind you, they're in college and could not be there on a Monday. Dead and Company. Why'd you schedule it for a fucking Monday? It'd be different if it was in summer, like you think a summer tour would. But again, this is
September
13th. So whatever. But I did, like, all of my best friends who I always talked about bringing to a show. Both of my parents, Curto, Nick, among other people, you know. My coworkers from TKO, and again, 8 of my best friends, like everybody made it. Even Dan, who started the day in Tennessee on his birthday. I was like, I got you a ticket to Dead Company on your
Somehow
birthday.
that man made it there.
He made it like at about a third of the way into second set. I was like, you made it, dude. And they still got at least an hour playing, so like you made it. Did you wander around? He's like, I had to check out the Shakedown Street before I came in, but I could hear it out there, so it's all good. I was like, yeah, you got it.
It was a pretty amazing show, all things considered. And I was amazed.
Set list was pretty tight, too.
Bob Weir sounded better.
Well,
the second show. Like
Looked
2
better.
years later.
He looked 2 years younger.
4 years later. It was crazy, bro. He's been sucking the life force out of Bill.
But, Chris's favorite concert was a Grateful Dead concert? Yeah, of course. What would you want from me, man? Of course that's the answer you get. So, that's what you got. Although Leonard Skinner's ZZ Top was pretty tight, too.
I bet.
That was tremendous.
Or that one El Monstero concert where you lifted the guy up on
with
your
the midget?
shoulders.
And I'm sorry if midget isn't the correct term, guys. What's the correct term?
I mean,
He was a little person, and he was tremendous. He was a great guy. We had a bond, and my friends ditched me. So, I mean, I helped him get a better view. He shared what he had. Okay, keep an eye on the clock. The maximum recording time, 60 minutes. So, we got anything else you want to tell us for your interview? Anything else you want our listeners to know?
I just want to remind you that, again, Forgiving Tree Band
this Friday, March 11th.
Servid Day and Tyler Samuels Project at the
triple
Broadway Boat Bar.
Jam sandwich, guys. You don't want to miss it.
Jamwich.
3 of the best local
7
bands.
p.m. You better come out. I want to see you there.
Doors at 7. Door price is $10 a person. And all ages welcome. Got that. No mask or vax requirements. Love to see you there.
And look out for more upcoming shows. We have a few on the books, and we'll likely have a few more coming up in the not-so-distant future.
You can find Kelly at anywhere on social media with The Forgiving Tree. Go check out The Forgiving Tree on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. And do you want to give your Insta? No, she don't want to.
There's nothing of consequence there right now. I'm more
go
active
check out
on the
Forgiving
fan
Tree
pages.
on, if you want to see her on Insta, go check out Forgiving Tree. And
Sorry, but you'll have to pay for that.
Real
premium
quick.
content.
just a couple things. I want to do just a couple of our segments real quick. We'll bust through them 5 minutes.
Let's do it. Let's
Tips for surviving the week. Give me a tip for surviving the week, Kelly.
Oh my gosh. All right, tips for surviving the week. Sometimes when you're feeling down and you're feeling like you want to stop going at work, you have to put it into perspective, or whatever you're doing. If your day, you're just feeling tired, you don't want to go to the store, you gotta think through all the stuff that you've done. Be kind to yourself for all the stuff that you've done.
That's
and think about yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Use that to propel you forward. Look at what you've done. Look at the task ahead of you and say, I got this.
Yeah, that's all about managing perspective. To be able to look at where you've been, look at where you want to be, and look at where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely.
But also being able to say it could be a lot worse, too.
Totally.
Could be,
gosh.
or remembering when it wasn't as good as it is now.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Another one you just said there, tip number 2, guys, be kind to yourselves. I'm very guilty of this. I can be very hard on myself, and you know, the world's unkind anyways. Why do you gotta be unkind to yourself? Kind of try to train or untrain your brain, be mean to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The more times you think it, the more likely you are to keep thinking it.
Right. And then you got more tips for surviving the week? You're one of my favorite people who helps me push through. So
make time to goof off.
Yeah,
schedule yourself some time to be a bum, or to go put some sticky bombs on some bean machines in GTA.
Whatever you gotta do.
Or to
even
go,
on your busiest day, guys, make sure you got an hour of goof time somewhere in there.
Even if you gotta sit in the back window and curse out some squirrels, if that's what helps you decompress, you do it, boo boo.
That's what you do in between your 11 a.m. meeting and your 1 p.m. Whatever.
Screaming into the void, It's
like the Grinch looking at his to-do list when they ask him to come down to Whoville.
Yeah.
It's a great metaphor. I'm on it. Any tips for musicians?
Well, you gotta practice.
Keep practicing. That's always tips number 1.
You gotta...
We're all guilty of skipping it, and who's it cheating? Yourself.
And your audience.
That's right. Think about them. That's noble. It's noble.
You're cheating.
You're practicing for other people, dude. What are you... That's incredible. Be beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Practice.
Put on your best possible show for your mom and your grandma.
That's right. And her sister Rosie.
Yeah, we love it.
Who thinks you're hot. We love Rosie.
Similarly, be kind to yourself.
As a musician, yeah, it's so easy to, especially in the digital age when you got so many videos of musicians trying to get their shit out there, you're going to see every single virtuoso, Your skill level's where you're at right now. You can always get better. That's why you got to practice.
Well, and if you feel like you're bad,
but don't judge.
You can't take chances because you're bad, you won't get better, and you'll stay there. So you can't let yourself think yourself into being bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have decided to pick up the instrument, you're already cooler than 70% of people who, because you said, hey, I can do this. I want to do this, and I think I can. And that's just, that's the winner's mindset right there. That's
you didn't think yourself out of picking it up in the first place, and that's arguably the hardest step in the whole process.
Tip number 3, guys, remember it's all about having fun with music, man. If you got into music, you got into it because you loved it, some aspect of it, right?
Absolutely.
So try to remember that, especially on a show day or when you're trying to plan a gig. It's easy to let the stress and anxiety take over, but it's all for the fun. So go out there and have fun.
Well, and also, bonus tip. Music's all about the community and the vibe you create. So think about that.
Yeah.
Think about what that means to you. And think about what you can do to bring that vibe to your music.
Right. Give us one album for album of the week this week.
Stadium Arcadium by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Excellent. That's a good choice.
Busting that one.
There's a lot of songs on that one too, guys, so that's a good one.
Got a lot of real estate, and boy howdy if there isn't not a skippable track on the whole thing. I love it. Masterpiece start to finish.
Tremendous.
Worth a listen and then some.
Kelly, hey, thanks for this episode. I know it was kind of a longer one than we planned, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's Goldie. So thanks for being here, and hey, If you guys listen to this whole thing, man, thank you. I want you
You're
to
a savage.
comment #TrueSavage.
Do we need to put out a savage of the week?
You're the savage of the week, motherfucker.
Aw, thank you. I'm honored.
You're the biggest savage. So kill it this Friday at the show. You're gonna do awesome, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will too.
And hey, if you listen to this whole show, guys, thank you guys. Comment True Savage or call in and leave a voicemail. I got the voicemail link in the description below, guys. Mad love and respect. I hope you guys have a tremendous week. If you're down in the dumps, man, hey, take some of those tips from Surviving the Week and musicians and music lovers. Kill it this week, man. Write out those goals, cross them off. Be a motherfucking savage, okay? Just like Kelly. And if you come out to the show on Friday, I'm going to give you an extra special show, dude. It's going to be tremendous. And these other bands... No, these other bands aren't no joke, though. And you're going to want to hear them now before they're big and famous, and it's $60 a show to get, or $60 a ticket to get in. So come on out, okay? And if the weather's a little shitty, you know, you can always check our... If you don't see a no on our social media, we're still doing it, so come out, you know. Want to see y'all there. Mad love and respect. Kelly, thank you.
Thank you.
And I will see you guys next week, okay? Check out Comedy by Coincidence. Go listen to The Forgiving Tree. And most of all, have a tremendous week. Love you.